Russia and the United States are once again at odds over Syria. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is now claiming Russia bears responsibility for a recent reported chemical attack by the Syrian government. RT's David Miller with the story.
29 countries met in Paris to push for sanctions and criminal charges against the perpetrators of chemical attacks in Syria. This comes after Russia and China have blocked Western-backed efforts at the United Nations to impose sanctions on Damascus over their use of chemical weapons. The meeting is intended to encourage countries to share information in order to compile a list of individuals implicated in the use of chemical weapons in Syria and beyond. These countries implicated could then be hit with sanctions such as asset freezes and entry bans, as well as criminal proceedings at the national level.
There is simply no denying that Russia, by shielding its Syrian ally, has breached its commitments to the United States as a framework guarantor. It has betrayed the Chemical Weapons Convention and UN Security Council Resolution 2218.
Secretary Tillerson's comments come after the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov spoke at the United Nations in New York concerning militants' access to chemical weapons in Syria.
Militants are not only using chemical weapons, but they also have their own technological and manufacturing capacities to synthesize toxic substances for military purposes. They've established far-reaching channels to access chemical weapons precursors.
We spoke with former Pentagon official Michael Maloof about Tillerson's comments and what sanctions, if any, will come about after the meetings in Paris.
Tillerson is trying to show that Russia is responsible. They don't want. I think he's trying to diminish Russia's influence in Syria. That's not going to happen. The whole idea is sort of a backhanded approach of if only the Russians would leave, Assad would go away and there would be another regime there altogether. And that's not going to happen.
The Assad government has been repeatedly accused of using chemical weapons, with the United Nations among those blaming government forces for an April 2017 sarin gas attack, and Damascus has refuted all those accusations. There have been at least 130 separate chemical weapons attacks in Syria since 2012, according to French estimates, with the Islamic State group also accused of using mustard gas in Syria and Iraq. Reporting from Washington, D.C., David Miller, RT America.